Welcome to ATP World Tour Uncovered. We have the great pleasure of spending time with Paul Ness today, one of the best ATP physiotherapists, cutting edge sports medicine, and these guys doing their job keeps the players healthy and on the court, giving them the best chance to play their best tennis. Well, what's one of your most interesting court calls that you've been out? I mean, obviously you could come out from anything from a strained muscle, a sprained ankle, a cut finger, a blister. What's been one of your most interesting interactions with a player on the court?
I had a player get stung by a bee once on his backside, so we had to go off court.
By backside, he doesn't mean lower back, by the way, just to specify.
We had to go off court and make sure that the bee sting was actually out of his butt and make sure he could continue on. So that was a funny one.
Tennis players are very routine-oriented in terms of getting stretched, getting tape done, their ankles and all of those things. Are you guys cognizant of those and recognize what players like certain things?
Yeah, everyone has their own little peculiarities. Whether it be a style of taping or a style of stretching or something needs to be warmed up specifically, and you just get to know them over time.
And what would you say the most common injuries that you see with the tennis players these days are?
Lower backs are very, very common. Shoulders is next, and then there's any range of things, whether it be knee pain, knee tendinitis, ankle sprains, sore necks. Anything can come up with tennis players. I mean, it's an unbelievably tough sport.
Tennis is a bit unique in that it stresses the entire body. If you work with runners, for example, we typically would only see lower body injuries, but in tennis players, we see injuries all the way from the bottom of the feet all the way up to the top of the head.
A big thing that's on the rise with the players, with the pounding they're taking with the feet, are blisters.
The guys just work so hard on court that they'll get areas of rubbing all over their feet, blister build-up, callus build-up, the whole lot. There's very, very few players who don't get blisters on a regular basis.
I think that's something that's really overlooked because at first glance you might say, well, geez, it's just a small blister on the tip of my toe. But what people don't understand oftentimes is that when they have that blister, it actually affects the mechanics of the foot and ankle, the knee, the hip, all the way into the lower back. In reality, something like a blister can be very, very destructive to a player because it changes the entire mechanics of the lower extremity.
We've had retirements because of blisters. So one of the biggest things is to be able to protect them. Compete has been one of our biggest products to really help settle down the skin, and you can actually keep going and going. So what we would normally do is try and clean up the skin and then put the Compete straight onto the area.
It's like an extra layer of skin.
It's absolutely like an extra layer of skin. It's got a really nice smooth edge around it, a bit of extra padding in the middle. Now that can actually stay on for a number of days. It's such a good product. We might need to replace this over the top to make sure it does stay on, but that will just fit straight over the top.
And this is a routine you'll go through with a lot of players before matches.
Heaps of players. Every second player will have some sort of toe. A bit of rubbing here or a bit of something on here.
There should be a face to this segment in terms of how to protect your feet. It should be James Blake. Not just tennis player. There's never been someone with worse toes ever in history. Tennis player toes. Thanks to Compete, maybe they'll be a little bit better.